Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for UFC Rio. In this one, we have Valter Walker taking on Mohammed Usman, the brother of Johnny Walker versus the brother of Kamaru Usman. For Walker, he is 14-1 as a professional, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, while Usman is 11-4 as a professional, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. So looking at Walker, he had lost his debut last April to Luka Izbreski, which looking back on it now, I don't know how he lost to him. Luka Izbreski's not good. He is no longer in the UFC. But he was able to beat Walter Walker, so that is an accomplishment of himself because Walter Walker, after that loss, has become a monster. In his last 3 fights, he has submitted Junior Tafa, Dontel Mays, and Kennedy Nzechukwu, all 3 of them in the first round, and all 3 of them by heel hook. I mean, heel hooks are already rare in the UFC. You very rarely see it succeed. Most of the time, fighters who try that are either trying to get up or get TKO'd because their face is right there. But nope, not Valter Walker. He's getting them back to back to back. I think he's getting close to like a record for the most consecutive heel hooks. I don't know exactly how far he is from it, but could you imagine if he wins this and gets another heel hook? Oh, can that be 4 in a row? That'd be crazy. I mean, like I said, you rarely see heel hooks work in MMA, period, but seeing a fucking heavyweight do it and the success he's having with it is absolutely crazy. Meanwhile, Usman, looking at his last 5 fights, he was on pretty good. He won his last 3 fights in the UFC, beating Zach Payunga, Junior Tafa, and Jake Collier. Then he lost his next 2 to Mick Parkin and Thomas Peterson, but then got back on the win column this June by beating Hamdi Abdullawa. Also, I apologize if I butchered the name. So looking at their overall skills, like I was saying with Walker, he's got surprisingly good submissions, and he is a physical beast. He's standing at 6'6", with a 78.5-inch reach. He is a big monster at heavyweight, and he seemed to have taken his I would say cardio and like overall physicality much more seriously. You can see it in comparison to his first fight in the UFC to now. He looks a lot slimmer. He looks a lot more muscular, like he actually put on proper muscle and just properly training. I mean, that's all it really takes for some of these heavyweights, man. Just some properly training, some good cardio training, and boom, you can take on the world with some good fundamental techniques. They can take over the world. That's why Tom Aspinall is so good right now. But with Valter Walker, he's very good at using the clinch and then able to just drop down, snatch up a heel hook. That's all he really had to do. In Kennedy Nzechukwu, he just kind of flailed his arms, so Kennedy had no choice but to respect the striking coming at him, go for a high guard, and then Walker just immediately creates contact, gets a tight waist, he drops down, and hunts for the heel hook. All in one kind of smooth transition. Well, smooth isn't the best word to use, but it was still a very nice transition nonetheless. As for Mohammed Usman, he comes from a football background, so he does have some high-level explosiveness and athleticism to him. And overall, I'd say some good strongman wrestling. He is a very strong fighter in his own right. Can throw some alright strikes. He has awkward boxing at best. Because he does throw 1-2 very well, he throws the 1-2 as a very good common strike, but the technique isn't all there. As for his own takedown defense, surprisingly not as good as I would think it was. I mean, getting out wrestled by Thomas Peterson. Granted, it seems Thomas Peterson is just that gatekeeper to the rankings, then to the rest of the top 20 at heavyweight. Or, if I'm not mistaken, there's 30 heavyweights on the roster, just a little more than that. So, though, turns out losing Thomas Peterson's not so bad, and, Mick Parkin is pretty good at heavyweight in his own right. Ugh. I have been struggling to think, is there much Mohammed Usman can do in this fight? He has some power in his hands, and he does throw some leg kicks, but his best attributes is his wrestling and being able to use the clinch. That's not exactly a path path he wants to take with Valter Walker, because if he makes a mistake, Walker's just going to take his leg home and put him with the rest of his collection. I just can't really see Mohammed Usman being able to do much to Valter Walker, because, like I said, Mohammed Usman's best skills are the wrestling and clinch. Well, if he gets in close contact with Walker, then he could possibly make a mistake in the grappling and get caught in the heel hook, or even in a different submission if Valter Walker wants to try. And while on the feet, Mohammed Usman should be a better striker. We've seen when Kenny Nzechukwu, who was a very good striker, just got swarmed by Valter Walker, got hurt when Walker was swinging in these haymakers, and had no choice but to stop, lock, and reassess himself. So even if Mohammed Usman wanted to use just his striking, I don't think that would work either, or at least not to a successful degree. So I do think Valter Walker kind of has the edge just about everywhere. Well, like I said, Mohammed Usman I think is still the better striker, but overall, just in terms of who has a better chance of finding victory first, it's got to be Valter Walker for me. Odds reflect this too. Minus 265 for Walker, plus 200 for Usman. These odds make sense. Walker's on a tear, and Mohammed Usman hasn't really beaten anybody like Valter Walker. I know I say that a lot, like, who have they beaten? And while it's true that sometimes these fighters are just really good, and it doesn't matter that they haven't beaten the best opposition, once they get to this opportunity, they take it. That's fair. But still, Hamdi Abdul-Lawal, has 6 fights to his name. Jay Collier's not in the UFC. Junior Tava sucks. I don't even know why he's still in the UFC. And then when he's fought some pretty good heavyweights, like ranked contender Nick Parkin, and then Thomas Peterson, who seems to be that gatekeeper to ranked and unranked at this point. Clearly, Mohammed Usman's not really the best. And to be honest, I think this is kind of a fight down for Walker. I figured he would fight to go up in the rankings, but I know he wanted another fight kind of like this to just improve his skill set before he went at the rankings. That's fine. I still just think overall Walker just has a clearer path to victory and a path of least resistance, all things considered. So I'm officially going to pick Valter Walker. I think I'm going to pick him via submission. He can either go for the heel hook, or I can see him going for another submission overall. But I think this ends with him making Mohammed Usman tap. But with that being said, that's been my official prediction for this fight. If you liked the video, comment and subscribe. Always like hearing your opinion. Next up, we'll have Lucas Rocha taking on Stuart Nickel. But until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. Thank you all for listening. Take care.